finally doing my long-awaited DVC resale experience video. So having gone through the process, completing the process, and now having used our DVC resale contract, staying, experiencing it in full, I feel like I can talk about this and form an educated opinion on the whole thing. So grab a drink, sit down, relax. This is going to be lengthy. I'm going to break it down into parts. For today's fun drink, I am drinking it out of my Marvel mug, and I'm just doing a tea today. I want something relaxing, something cozy. This is a Yogi immune support tea. So I'm going to assume you clicked on this video because you already know what DVC is. But if you don't, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to explain it, and if you do, you can skip to this point. I'll post the timestamp on the screen. So to put it plainly, DVC is Disney's version of a timeshare on a points system. It stands for Disney Vacation Club. So how does that points system work? Well, when you purchase a contract, you are purchasing an amount of points, and this amount can vary depending on how many you feel like you need. You can start small and grow bigger, but you can't go bigger and then go smaller unless you sell your contract. So points change based on days of the week, based on times of the year, and based on which resort. And you use your points to stay at deluxe Disney resorts. One of the key reasons why we purchased, and I believe why a lot of people do purchase, is because points don't change, but the costs of staying at these resorts do. We have seen it already in the last 5 years. The cost to stay at resorts is going up, and it's just going to continue to go up and up and up. So if you buy DVC, you're kind of locking in at the price that it is right now. So if you want to keep doing your Disney trips and inflation is kind of blocking you from doing that, DVC might be something you want to look into. Now, it is a timeshare, so there are annual dues. Annual dues can go up in price, but typically it isn't astronomical, and it's still a lot cheaper to pay your yearly dues than it is to stay at these resorts. So dues are going to be dependent upon which contract you buy, how many points, it's per point. Now, the one thing that I really love about DVC, and I feel like sets it apart from other timeshares, is that there is a huge market for DVC points. There are a lot of really popular DVC rental stores, and if you are an owner of a DVC contract, you can rent your points for cash. So each rental store is going to have its different agreements, different amounts they'll offer you, but say you can't make your dues payment and you can't afford to go on your trip that year, you can rent your points and make the money back to pay your yearly dues. Another option you have as well is if you're not planning on taking a trip that year, you can bank your points for the next year. So you have technically 3 years of a use window. You have your current year, you have your previous year, and you have your following year. So if you have extra points from a previous year, you can bank them to your current year. But also in reverse, if you are planning on taking 2 trips or 3 trips this year and you don't have enough points, you can borrow them from the next year. So it does give you a little bit of flexibility, and you won't lose out on your points if you don't use them for that year. There are also certain perks you get from DVC, so there's things like lounges, discounts, you get access to extra ticketed events held only for DVC members, and you get discounts on ticketed events like Mickey's Not So Scary and the Christmas parties. You also get early access to certain events, you get previews to certain rides and things that are opening. So a lot of the perks do align with annual passes. So if you have both, some of them kind of cancel each other out, but if you don't want an annual pass, you get a lot of the perks through DVC. However, And I'll mention this at the end of the video, you don't get a lot of those perks if you purchase resale. So that's a brief explanation of DVC. If you guys have any questions, I can definitely do a follow-up video answering all of them. So if I miss anything or you're confused about something and want further clarification, definitely leave me a comment. Let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this video, our experience purchasing resale. So I'm not going to disclose the site that we used because I'm not partnering with them in any way. This is not me like sponsoring them in any way. And I want you to do your own research. I never want to recommend a particular company for something like this, but do your thorough research. Check them out on Better Business Bureau, check out Reddit threads on them, see if you can call them, see if they are registered business with an address. Like, really do your research because you are going to be spending a lot of money feasibly. So once I found a company that I really liked, I just kind of monitored the contracts that would pop up. You can sign up for emails. So ones that really caught my eye were like the 25 point and the 50 point contracts because they were $5,000 to $8,000 each. And compared to that $22,000 to $40,000 price mark, I was like, this is what we can afford now. And for us, a 50 point contract really made sense because we could do one longer trip or two shorter trips with a 50 point contract. So then we kind of had to narrow it down to what resort we wanted. Now, I will say my main driving factor was the price. I was looking for a really good priced 50 point contract, and that was really my main criteria. Everything else was kind of secondary. But when I saw a 50 point contract pop up at Animal Kingdom Lodge, one of our favorite resorts, I kind of hopped on it. It was a good price. It had a good expiration year, which was way far in advance. I think our expiration year is like 2066. So when you see a contract that you like and you're interested in and you can afford, you submit an offer. So the offer they were asking for was that we paid this year's dues and there was a down payment. So we were comfortable with that and we submitted the offer. Our offer was accepted on the same day, so it was a pretty quick turnaround and I was so thrilled and excited. I didn't really know going into this like what the process was going to be like, how long it was going to take, and to know that it moved quickly. I don't know if that was just our experience, but I do imagine your offer can be declined, but we were pretty much giving what they were asking. We were not trying to haggle or counter offer or anything. We were like happy with what they were asking. So I assume that's why we got it like right away. So I have dates for everything so you can kind of see just how long this process is and how long each step is. Keep in mind, this was just our situation. Delays and things can make this process longer. Our offer was accepted on May 2nd. So once the offer was accepted, we were sent over documents to sign and provide information with because they're basically transferring someone's DVC contract to you. So they need your information to do so. So we signed and sent over the documents right away because we really wanted to get the process expedited. Once they have all of your documents, they have something called Disney's first right of refusal. So because Disney owns these contracts, they do have the right to kind of refuse and say, no, we don't want to sell this, we're going to buy this back. I don't know how often this happens. I was assured that if it did happen, they would help us find a comparable DVC contract and they would work with us until we found something we were happy with. I also would imagine Disney is more likely to refuse much higher priced contracts and at like newer resorts, things that they're currently selling like Grand Floridian or Riviera. We were buying an Animal Kingdom Lodge. You currently cannot buy there unless you're buying resale, so Disney doesn't really stand to make a profit off of it. So I was pretty confident that they weren't gonna refuse. But this process does take a while, and it was torture. It was torture just having to wait and wait and wait and not know if we were gonna get it or not. Thankfully, Disney didn't take too long to decide, and on May 26th, we got our contract. So Disney did not refuse, so we could move on to the next step. So at this point, you are going to be purchasing your contract. So you are going to have to wire funds to your DVC rental company, which is why I really highly suggest you vet your company. This would also be the time you would set up your loan payments, and you would probably get your credit checked and stuff like that. I didn't go through the process because we did pay our loan in full. It was a small enough amount that we felt comfortable paying it off in full, and we really just didn't want to finance it and have payments and interest. So I highly recommend setting aside money and saving until you can just buy it outright. Because then you have to think about that your loan payment amount is going to be on top of your dues amount, and it might not be as worth it if you have interest and a loan payment as well. So once we sent over the funds and signed more paperwork, we officially closed on our contract on June 26th, so exactly a month after. So after you close, all of your information is packaged up and sent over to Disney. So now it's on Disney's end. So essentially, Disney needs to set up all your information in their system and transfer the DVC account to you. So this took a while. Again, every step is estimated about 30 days. So Disney will end up sending you 2 emails. They will send you an email to set up your DVC account, and then they will send you an email to set up your password and everything like that. So it was very straightforward and very simple to set up. And that finally happened on July 20th. It definitely took a while from completion because I submitted our offer on May 2nd and finalized, completed on July 20th. So now there's the process of waiting for points to be loaded onto your account. And typically this also takes like 30 days. But I went online, did some research, and found out you are able to call the DVC line. And I just explained to them that I was trying to use our points to book a trip in August, and it was July 20th. And I was like, if I wait the full 30 days, I'm not going to be able to go. Is there any way we can get this expedited? The woman on the phone was an angel. She got our points loaded right then and there. So I highly recommend giving them a call if you're trying to use them to book a trip. And that was the entire process. Once that was all finalized, I was able to go into the DVC site and book a vacation using our points. And when I tell you how good that felt, and to see that I had all of my points loaded for this year and next year, and I could just use them to book trips, it's an awesome feeling. It feels like you are booking trips for free. Essentially, you're not. You do have to pay annual dues, but there's no down payment. There's no cost until you pay your annual dues. And we got a really, really good deal on our contract. Our dues are not a lot, and the amount of our dues is way less than the amount we're going to be spending to stay at all of these deluxe resorts. So that was our entire process. I could just end the video here, but I wanted to include a little bit of a pro-con list. Buying DVC resale versus buying from Disney Direct. So previously, these rules did not exist, and Disney did recognize DVC resale contracts for membership, but they don't currently anymore. I think it was like 2021, I think something was passed, and they don't recognize it. So unfortunately, if you were locked in prior to that, you're good, but if you purchase now, there's some restrictions. But for us, the restrictions did not outweigh the amount of money we would be saving. So for the pros, of course, it's so much cheaper. You are going to be able to spend what you're comfortable with on contract amounts you're comfortable with, and even if you were to buy the same amount of points resale versus what Disney's selling them for, you're going to save a lot of money. Second pro is there is access to smaller contracts. You can find contracts as low as like 25 points. I don't recommend 25 points. I recommend 50 as like the minimum because I feel like it's most worth the money at that minimum. The third pro, and one that really sold us, is you can purchase at all of the older resorts. Currently, you can only purchase at the Riviera and the Grand Floridian if you buy from Disney Direct. A couple of the cons, you are not recognized for DVC membership. So under that falls the category of you don't have access to the lounges. You don't have access to buy the special ticketed events like Moonlight Magic, and I don't know if they have any other ones, but you just aren't able to purchase those tickets because you need a membership card to get into those events. You get a longer expiration date if you purchase from Disney because you're purchasing newer resorts, so they have longer expiration dates. But for us, again, it didn't outweigh the amount of money we were going to be saving. So definitely weigh the options if you're interested. And again, if I missed anything, leave a comment down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was informative because I really wish that I found a video like this when I was looking into DVC resale. So I just want to share all of the money saving tips that I have for planning Disney trips because Disney is expensive, and as a Disney travel agent, I love saving people money and saving myself money so that I can go to Disney more without it costing me more. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a wonderful and magical day, and I'll see you in my next video.